Welcome back to Hardcore Primal Fear. It is day 21 now, and as you can see, due to my might, I did not die overnight. Hopefully last night's not the only night that's gonna be like that. The first thing on my agenda is to continue increasing my power levels so I can survive and have better chances of surviving if something powerful makes their way to my base. And the only way to get powerful is to knock out more powerful stuff with more trunk bullets and team them up. Also, since my entire metal reserves went towards getting that industrial forge on day 19, it was time to restock. This is how most of the day went, and metal be burning at the end of the day. I had everything to craft some advanced elemental kibble that night, so I went for it, because advanced elementals can give you hide as well as all 4 types of feathers, which can be useful in the late game for some awesome stuff. You'll see what I'm talking about. Well, if I make it that far. Also, this alpha egg salad claims that it hides you from all of the dinos on the map if you're not too close or aggro them in some way, form or fashion. And since this is hardcore, maybe it'll help, and if it does, that'll be very nice. Oh, I am faster. A little too fast, perhaps. Well, no, I can't see a thing. I saw a light Archaeopteryx at the edge of the swamp here, and I started the knocking out process, which was made a lot easier with this primal rifle and the trunk bullets. But of course it still took some time because it's just a basic one. Nice. But before I can even go down there to get the team, I had to look around to make sure that there are no aggressive dinos, especially those buffoon feroxes which love to throw nukes. You don't want to go down there and hear one big boom and you're suddenly at the main menu. Okay. It took me all day and some frozen body parts to finally find a female for the male to get some eggs. So of course, those frozen body parts can't be sacrificed in vain. Except that they were sacrificed in vain because I went for the slide parrot instead. Well, there goes the eyebrows. After losing my eyebrows that night, it was knocked out first thing the next morning. Then I decided to call the local Fjordhawk population because they've caused me way too much trouble in the past. The thing about these elemental parrots is that they are way more common than all of the other elementals, and that was the reason why I did not bother with that Mega Raptor, even though I already had the opposite gendered team already. I'm not sure what's going on, but whatever it was, it was. And now, the power of darkness is in the palm of my hand, just the way I like it. Oh, hello. Of course it's in the water again. I told you, it happens a lot more often than I would like to admit. And of course, that is never a good sight. And of course, a restock on polymer is always a good thing. So you know what that meant. Progress is being made, as you can see, as I am almost there to crafting this blueprint. Another reason I went for these light parrots is because the last time I tamed them, they weren't laying any eggs of any kind. Maybe now it's been fixed? Well, that tells me it was. Which meant that this day was not a waste of time. The thing is, I was getting impatient on waiting to get everything to craft that Ascendant blueprint, so I went for this one instead. Oh wow. This is horrible. What a disappointment that was. And what's even more disappointing? I'm now further away from getting that Ascendant one, which meant it won't hurt to try it a second time and get even further away from that one. But this time it was worth it. Fabled kibble has now been added to the menu. Come get some for a small price. And now that I'm going to start requiring multiple crops for each kibble that I'm going to use, I need to make this place a bit more green, if you know what I mean. I burnt the rest of the daylight gathering metal so I can upgrade the foundations into metal. Though it's not really gonna matter, everything's probably still gonna get one-shotted if something big passes by. I also had access to Omega kibble, so it's time to tame some Omega dinos so that I will start getting Fabled and Omega eggs, because both are needed for the next tiers of dinos. And kibble. Well, kibble then dinos. Same thing. Might get knocked out. It did. And once more, rinse and repeat. which again is the conspiracy theory of shampoo makers. You don't need to wash your hair twice. Now it was time to get some fabled dinos so that I can start getting fabled eggs. Don't ask why I tried taming this at night, because I have no idea. I could have waited until daytime where I can actually see things, but you know, sometimes not seeing is better than seeing. Don't quote me on that, it's never true. But I will tell you, after knocking it out, I spent most of the night in the sky until the next morning to actually go down there and tame it. Again, rinse and repeat, except this time it was only rinsing and no repeating, because after knocking it out I started hearing this. It just had to be a buffoon Mesopithecus. Yeah, I wasn't going down there to get my face blown off. I'll find another one, some other time. And of course, there just have to be some days where you just can't see a thing. I knocked out this Elder Moss Chops, and the only reason I was able to is because I had the awesome spyglass. Without it, I wasn't seeing anything. And after about 1,000 berries, I had a new friend. There were no fabled Therizinosaurus on the map at this time, so I had to go for the next best thing, which was this guy. He's gonna get the job done until one of those guys show up. After I took out this Marlin Pteranodon, I got a nice little blueprint, which might actually turn out to be better than the Ascendant one I have, considering how much less expensive this one is. There's nothing like a little early in the morning to wake you up. Then I saw a cheeky breed pair of fabled pteranodons and just had to go for it, because that's the breed pair that I've been missing this whole time. So, here is the first brick wall I've met in this journey. I have fabled eggs and omega eggs. I have all of the feathers and I have all of the crops. There is just one thing in this recipe I am missing, and that happens to be primal blood. Now, that is the brick wall. How am I going to get that? Because primals are literal monsters. Well, that's the struggle that's going to terrorize me for the next few days. So at first I started crafting some omega kibble. Maybe there is a really strong omega Indominus Rex or something on the map that I can tame to take out a primal. Except there is none. So that's awesome. Then I got startled by my own omega Spino growing up and maturing. Then I upgraded another set of Apex Flak armor, even though I know it's not gonna matter. And I started day 28 crafting up some fabled health potions, just in case I don't find anything awesome and need to fight a primal with what I have currently. A nice little fact for you: an Apex Therizino inside of a cave with a lot of bugs equals a lot of chitin. I said a lot of chitin, didn't I? After farming up about 1 billion stone over the course of the rest of yesterday, I was making lots and lots of chitin today. I was thinking of moving closer to the redwoods, so I started by placing this platform here. And then even more sap taps, so I can get even more sap in the same amount of time. Because I still need a lot of sap in order to craft some of those rifle blueprints, which I still didn't craft yet. And then I spent the rest of the day waiting on sap, because that's how you get it, by waiting patiently. Heading back home the next day, I had a fair amount of sap that I can actually use to craft a blueprint when I get everything else. Or not. Well then. Ah, there we go. Told you I had enough. And what I got was fairly decent, considering it was a good blueprint, and my crafting skill is awesome. Primal blood, huh? Yep, acquiring primal blood is still the conundrum. Day 31 started out as you might expect, searching for the weakest possible primal dino to take out, but also since I couldn't find any strong fabled or omega dinos, I needed to start leveling up what I already have. And the best way to level up at this stage is to kill some of those tier dinos like alphas, apex and fables, because those are most common, to get some of those XP potions to get those levels. Well, I found a primal, and it has a whopping 9 million health. Yeah, I'm not gonna be taking that out anytime soon, even if I start that battle now. There's no reason to keep waiting. It's gonna take quite a while though. And after seeing just the little damage I was doing, I wondered if there was a weaker primal, one that I can take out a bit faster. You know, one with maybe half as much health, so I'll at least do it in half as much time, which might still take a long time. The next day, I decided to tackle a wandering loot boss to see if I'll get any good loot. You see, the reason I really did this was because I needed to distract myself from the actual horror of battling a primal at this stage, because I don't really have anything that could really stand a challenge against them. Instead, there were two things that this loot boss had that piqued my interest: the Elemental Featherlight saddle and the Alpha Giga saddle. Then I found a Primal Raptor with almost half as much health as that Primal Carno. It could have been a lot lower if it had less levels, but this will have to do. Oh, that's a giant bee. Okay. Okay, I guess the bee is gonna do the job for me. Clearly the Chaos Bee was doing a much better job than I was at taking out that Primal Raptor, so I just waited in hopes that the corpse would remain and I would actually get the blood. Wow. That's a lot faster than I could have done it, but the thing about Chaos Explosions, they harvest corpses, so there was no corpse there for me, so I wasted that time for exactly and absolutely nothing, which was awesome by the way. Well, it's time to look for another primal, one that is not near a Chaos Bee. I went back to the Carno I was fighting earlier, and then I saw this drop actually had some primal toxic trunk bullets in it. Yeah, the great idea of breaking those down at the upgrade station or the grinder to get the primal blood did not come to my mind. And no, if you're wondering if I put the bullets in that drop, the answer is no. It spawned with those modded items in it because it's part of a mod called Better Beacons 2.0, which was part of the mod list for this. The Better Beacons 2.0 mod enhances supply crates and the items in them, making them a bit more worth it. It also allows supply crates to spawn modded and can contain in such drops items from the mod that you're using, hence primal toxic infused trunk bullets in this one. And after spending half of the day getting the Primal Carno 200 meters away, I was able to get the items in the drop. It's day 33 now and I still haven't killed a primal. Maybe today will be the day I get it done? Well, one way to find out, right? It became like a task because the guy is attacking lots of other things and is moving all over in the water, and me on a flying creature over water is never a good idea because if it gets too close to the water, I fall in and die. So it came down to two options. One, fight with the flying creature and die and end this entire thing, or two, find some other primal, get it to attack something else and make it die to that something else, just so I can get some blood without even having to fight one. Which option would you choose, huh? Then I saw that there were some Omega Rexes on the map, so maybe I can get one and fight a primal literally anywhere. Except there's a problem. Yeah. And of course there's a Chaos Rex next to it. So that did not happen. Back to the previous two options I just mentioned. Yeah, I'm not getting this. And if the Chaos Rex wasn't bad enough, there were two Origin bosses nearby as well. And this place just got better. There's a spirit creature nearby as well, and the best part, I had no idea where it was. But it was buffing everything around it. Then I hatched a nice little plan. Maybe a necrotic wyvern can solve all of my problems. So I sought after one, and I found one. I got it tamed up and headed back to that primal. But first, I needed to test its damage to see if it's gonna be worth it. Okay, that is damage, and it looks like it. But it wasn't meant to be. You see, the thing is, all of Primal Fear's tiered bosses are immune to almost every status effect and ailment. So all of that burn you see on the demonic parasaur, yeah, that did not work on this primal. But what might work is that demonic monkey. Just gotta get the two to greet each other, if you know what I mean. Let me stay away from that. Primal Carno is dead. Looks like the demonic monkey did what I wanted it to. And the best part, the corpse was left behind, which means easy primal blood. If I could get it. But first, I have to deal with that. And now I finally have the blood of a primal. And the first thing the next morning, demonic kibble was cooking. Can you smell it? I was running low on some berries. This Apex Terrazino solved that problem without even asking questions. Yeah, I knew what happened the last time I came here, like a very long time ago. But that ain't gonna happen this time. I was sure to scout the area first, because I was too far in this to die now and needed all of those rares for these health potions and even narcotics later on. And I needed toxic blood for those stronger narcotics, and this turtle willingly donated it. And on day 36, I had myself a lot of primal trunk bullets. The search for demons of the underworld begins. Of course, we are looking for the most powerful of them all, because the non-most powerful ones of them all aren't so great. And since I've already experienced what each and every one of them can do, most of them would just be a waste of kibble and time. And time is one of those things we don't really have much of. So I went specifically for demonic parasaurs. And because I was able to kill that monkey with the necrotic wyvern earlier, I had enough demonic hide for the saddle. Then I saddled up and went nuclear on the local wildlife. Now that I have a demonic, one of the most powerful of them all, it's time to start the onslaught on the origin bosses. For several reasons, the biggest one right now is that I need a max XP potion, and I can get one from an origin boss. That way I could level up the demonic parasaur to its maximum level and bring out the true power of a demon. The nearest origin was on the other side of the map, and since I have a demonic parasaur already, I wanted to do this traveling on foot and to destroy everything in my wake. Because, well, that's what you can do when you have a demonic parasaur. As you can see, traveling on foot is a lot of work and it takes a lot of time. I made it to the Origin Raptor the next day. Now, it is time to bring the heat to the Origin Raptor. And for the sake of, this video, visuals, and frame rate, I'll turn off damage numbers for almost every battle going forward. Next, it was all about getting the rest of egg layers, so I will have all tiers of eggs just racking up. Then I did some breeding with the Celestial Agents and Demonic Parasaurs to get some more females to ramp up the egg production a bit more. Then I brought out the Light Parrots and left them to breed, to get eggs, to hatch them, to grow them up, and then to get the feathers from them. That night, the grind for artifacts began. I need like 500 of these. And look at that, it's 3 already. We're almost halfway there, and every time I see an artifact, it has to be taken down because artifacts. I don't want to go in a cave and wait 10 minutes just to get it. That is just not gonna work. And because I can only carry one of every type of artifact, I had to leave some behind. The artifacts were to craft one of each of the remaining origin bosses that I haven't fought yet to unlock all of the tech grams. And then it was to fight all of them. Of course, not at the same time, that would be crazy. Happy days right here, I got a max experience potion from this one. And those are the final stats. I was missing one artifact to craft an Origin Wyvern summon, but I saw this Fabled Theory and of course I will get distracted by it because I don't have one. A nearby loot boss caught me in a bad time and near the Fabled Theory, so I had to take him out. All of this for a Fabled Therizino, and it's the only one so I can't kill it. Get out of here, son. And after all that shenanigans, I finally have myself a Fabled Therizino. Then an artifact was taken out for the one remaining artifact for that final Origin boss. And then another one for some more, because about 500 artifacts is how much I really need. Yeah, it's a lot. And now, the next thing is, which one do I want to work towards first? The Spirit Guardian or the Chaos Guardian? But that is a topic for another day. Because in order to fight any of those guardians, I need literally the best possible saddles, or it's game over. Basic primal rockets don't really do that much damage, so I don't know why I am crafting this. And if you made it all the way to the end of the video, it is very much appreciated, my friends. And I thank you for your time. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you did, rate, comment, and maybe even subscribe, because this journey is far from over. We still have a lot of stuff to get done, and we will pick this up in the next one on day 41. I hope to see you then.